And now for your weekly dose of metal. Here are your hosts, Morgan Danielle and Luco Blaze on the Metal Experience.
Woo! All right, we just heard Sons of Ra with the song Anti-Fragile, and that's off of their album Anthropology. And then we heard a Faces of the Bog track. That was The Weaver, and that's from their album Ego Death. And the band Faces of the Bog is actually coming back on the show after 6 years for only their second time, August 14th. So that's going to be sweet. Faces of the Bog, good guys. Good, some good stoner metal.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We saw them a little while ago, but we haven't had them on the show for
We've
6
only seen
years.
them once live, too.
And they're awesome.
Or twice.
But anyway,
Once.
moving forward, I am Luco Blaze with Morgan Danielle. The chin hair of knowledge and the chin face of wisdom are both off tonight, so it's just us two. And that doesn't matter. Fuck those guys, because we are rocking out here with, for the first time, Erzulie. Did I pronounce that correctly? I wrote it down, but then I probably still messed it up.
She's stoked because you did. Or
I did.
she's making an angry face because you didn't. I can't
Erzulie.
tell. Which is it?
Yeah, Erzulie.
Erzulie. Erzulie.
Erzulie.
Oh, see, that's why I had to put more A's. I had to put more A's. The H was throwing me off. So, Erzulie.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, what you do in the band?
Hi, my name is Gold Girl, and I am the vocalist for Erzulie.
Hi, my name is Crossfix, and I'm the guitar player.
Hi, I'm Sir, and I'm the keyboardist.
My name is Ty Dark, and I play drums.
And who are we missing tonight?
Our bass
Stacks.
player Stacks could make
Stacks?
it tonight.
Yeah.
Stacks.
Yeah.
Like stacks of cash or
Stacks in and
stacks
Exactly
of
like
amps
Stacks of
or
cash.
Stacks of
Okay.
cash, stacks of weed.
Boom.
He's out
And
getting
boom.
more stacks of cash.
He's out working on getting some stacks of cash.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging with us. I know we booked this pretty far in advance. We were stoked to book somebody that actually reached out to us, and we were like, who are these people? This looks awesome. So you guys actually, let's start with this. You recently, within the past month, released a brand new EP. Let's talk about that.
About 2 weeks ago, we released our second EP called Audio Hex Bad Blood Saga, which we recorded with our good friend, Ty, help me out.
Anthony Beck.
Anthony Beck. And it's cool. It incorporates lots of different styles between thrash metal and folk and jazz and a bunch of cool things, and it's been received pretty well.
Now, when you say jazz metal on your profile,
Chicago jazz metal.
what makes your sound or what classifies you as a jazz metal? Because there's not very many people claiming to be a jazz metal band.
Well, technically, we're both a jazz band and a metal band. So we've been in situations where we'll play acoustic jazz sets. So we'll have a tenor saxophone instead of keyboards.
Whoa.
But even in our metal context, a lot of the structure is borrowed from jazz progressions and different types like vamping and just chord progressions. So we think that we incorporate a lot of jazz into our metal context, especially with Go-Go's jazz vocals.
Hey-o.
Hey.
That's a really unique idea. So what is
New
your
York.
backgrounds in these fields? How did you become a musician in both jazz and metal?
I grew up in a house where I got my first drum set when I was about 3.5, 4 years old, and I immediately broke the entire thing. And I just grew up in a house with music, and my dad was a singer and a jazz musician, and he did that my entire youth till I was like 25. So between that and growing up in church, playing music, it just kind of happened that way.
Blast beats.
And I grew up with jazz. My dad was a big jazz fan, and my grandfather hung out with all the jazz greats back in the day. And so I grew up playing saxophone and whatnot. So that's my primary instrument. Then I picked up keys in high school and kind of played that a bit in college. And then I found these folks and started playing metal.
So you play the saxophone in the band also, too, right?
Only during our acoustic sets, where I play soprano saxophone, and I also play kalimba too.
The what?
Kalimba, like a
What is
thumb
that?
piano. It's like this piece of wood that's hollow on the inside, and you have like metal, like long metal like rods or kind of lip like things, and you pluck it with your thumbs, and it makes a cool sound.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
What is that called again?
Kalimba.
Sweet.
He's looking.
Crucifix?
What's your answer?
That's why I'm directing everybody else, and then I fail when it's my turn. I'm not real. I'm a thrash metal guy by trade. That's what I got my teeth on, especially like James Hetfield, right hand downward picking. And so for me, jazz is just something that I try to kind of incorporate, or at least things that I consider were jazz-like elements. But it's more so when Sir came to the band that we really felt that we had the right to use the jazz term, even though we have Go Girl, who is a talented jazz vocalist on her own right, but I am the least jazzy person, which is weird because I'm the primary songwriter. But that's cool.
The least jazzy.
The least jazzy.
Jazz hands.
So when I was like around 5-6 years old, I got one of those fake microphones with a spring in it.
Nice.
And it was like this bright neon green color, and I've always been like singing and dancing. It's just something I've always done since I was a kid. And my dad actually has a background in opera and studied radio communications in college. He grew up singing in a gospel choir. And my mom she was an actress in college, so she was like in a theater in college, and introduced me to dancing at a very young age. I grew up listening to a lot of jazz and blues. It's like my dad's influence. He introduced me to Billie Holiday, Dinah Washington, and like these really jazz greats. And I didn't really start screaming until like, I want to say 3-4 years ago. Screaming's like a totally different thing that I just sort of made myself study it and learn it. And I actually, the first time I screamed, it was for a dance piece. So,
What?
Yeah.
Someone's dancing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like a metal scream, but it was like the first time I had to scream in public, like in front of people. And it was in the middle of the Chicago Cultural Center, which is like, it's this really high arching building, and the acoustics inside are like, you could hear tapping, like a pen tapping, you know? So when I screamed, it was a total like Jamie Lee Curtis sort of horror scream.
Nice.
But you could really hear it like reverberating through the room, and that was like the first time I screamed in public. And then following that, I was doing backup vocals for a funk band, and their guitarist had brought a more punk song they wanted to try, and so they just. I was like, well, I screamed like a week ago in a dance piece. Like, I could probably do it. And then I did, and that's sort of how it ended up in this band, because when we performed this song, a singer that Cross used to work with told me that she's having auditions and was looking for a metal singer, and I was just like, oh, I'll show up, I'll try, I'll see what it is.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, and no one liked me except for Cross. Cross was like, who stuck with me. So, but like since then, I've really grown a lot. So yeah.
Well, how did you guys all meet? Let's get the backstory about how the band became the band.
Well, essentially, prior to Erzulie existing, there was a hip-hop metal band called Severed Tether, which is a band I formed with a spoken word artist named Tichi Nee. And so we were a band for about 2 years. And after that band had ran its course, Tichi had invited Go Girl to come in and audition for the project. And Go Girl's vocal styles was completely different than Tichi Nee, so we didn't feel that it was the right move to try to mimic songs that already had their own spirit. So we decided to form Erzulie. It was just she and I at first, and then we eventually got a bass player and drummer, and they both parted ways with the band. And we've since incorporated my cousin, who is also the drummer in Severed Tether, Ty, bass player Stax, who isn't here, and the additional instrument with Sir and his keyboards.
Very cool. And how long ago was that?
3 years ago. This will be our 4th year in September that we started formally.
And then the music that you guys brought tonight that we're playing, how long ago did you guys record that?
We recorded that about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
And we just been waiting to get it mastered and a right time to drop it, and so we were able to do it this past month.
Hell yeah. So is this the first recordings that you guys have done?
No, it's the second recording we've done as Erzulie, but it's the first recording with the lineup that we currently have.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and introduce the world to Erzulie? Did I say that correct?
That was a good
Yes,
one.
that was
Yeah.
good,
Why don't we go ahead and introduce the world to the band and play something off the CD? What did you guys want to start the show off? What do you want to introduce the metal experience world to you guys? What do you want to show them first?
Well, I guess we're going to start off with a pop punk number, which is, for whatever reason, we start all our shows with this one. It's called Wake Me Up.
And what's the title of the CD again?
Audio Hex Bad Blood Saga.
Whew. All right. So off Audio Hex Bad Blood Saga, this is Wake Me Up by Erzulie. Let's do it.
Hey, you're listening to Extinguish the Sun. This is the Metal Experience. Fucking tear it up.
And we are back with the Metal Experience. I am Morgan Danielle with Luco Blaze. We have no third party tonight helping the Metal Experience, but that doesn't matter because we are here with Erzulie, and that was Wake Me Up, a pop punk song. Woo!
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
We love to call ourselves the jazz metal band, and our first song is neither jazz nor metal.
Yeah, just change it up a little bit. Why not? So what is Wake Me Up about?
Well, it was interesting. That's when Go Girl first started writing lyrics because she's always been a very talented vocalist, but this is a band where she really had to stretch her lyric writing ability. And so the demo version of the song was called Espresso because it was really hard for me to play when I first started. And so the song is about caffeine in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Either literally or metaphorically as a relationship. I'm not quite sure, and I've been hearing it for years.
Nice.
Perfect. Well, it makes sense. Wake me up.
I do.
With
I do understand it.
Some
Yeah.
sweet, delicious. It would be sweet. With some delicious
So
coffee.
now all you need is you need a coffee collaboration with a company, and you could
Right.
use that as your
What?
jingle. Wake
Yeah,
me
we're trying
up.
to get that deal with Duncan
Wake
Hills
me
Coffee.
Duncan, nice.
Yeah.
I'll do a Duncan Hills jingle.
That's pretty awesome.
You guys like coffee?
So what are some of your influences now that you've gotten older with this scene? What have you found yourself listening to a lot more lately?
What?
Doesn't
What-
have to be metal. It could be anything. But what?
Well,
what
that's the thing.
influences?
It's like I've been listening to a lot more metal since I've joined this band, and I've sort of made myself listen to more metal since I've joined this band, just to be more knowledgeable on the genre in general. Cross got me into this group called Straight Line Stitch that I really
They're
enjoy.
phenomenal.
And, like Alexis is a really big inspiration. Just like seeing another woman of color, just sort of being able to give out those beastly screams, but then still have a really melodic voice. That was like a huge inspiration for me. So yeah, I would say them. And then they also got me into Pantera. I've been listening to Pantera a little more, like some classics and stuff. But outside of that, like I've been really into, there's this genre of music called minimalism, and it's basically like really basic electronic beats. And it's like not necessarily rhythmic or anything, it's just weird.
It's
So
okay.
it's like, yeah, I go in between like listening to metal and then just these weird beats.
Well, there you
Yeah.
I've been listening to pretty much the same music I've been listening to, which is guitar-driven music. I like listening to like guitar players that are way better than me, that make me feel sad about the instrument that I play. So like Angel Vivaldi or Bulb from Periphery or Yngwie Malmsteen, who we got to see together,
Yeah.
Go Girl and I, and it's just to be able to be that inspired by that instrument and everybody be able to invoke their own spirit on it, I think is really cool about the instrument. So yeah, that's all I do. And then like mumble rap, because sometimes you got to turn up for the weekend.
Okay, hold on. What is mumble rap?
It's rap where the it's basically, in my opinion, like early punk, where like the energy carry more so than the ability of the musicians to play their instrument. And so that's kind of how I look at mumble rap, people who can't articulate English very well, but they have good intentions. So that's how I look
Okay.
at mumble rap.
I've always been listening to jazz, so more jazz, and been listening to a lot more like avant-garde stuff. Like, I grew up on that, but I hadn't been listening to quite as much until kind of recently, like a lot of Albert Eiler and stuff like that, and Peter Brotzman, which actually, if you think about it, is kind of parallels metal in a bit, just because of the energy and like the raw emotion. But I've been listening to more metal bands than I used to after being in this band, which is good. And I've been listening to a lot of piano music. It's just because I've been, since joining this band, I've been working a lot more on my keyboard skills. So I listen to just like a lot of classical. I'm a big fan of contemporary classical. I listen to a lot of that stuff because it's a lot of it's pretty interesting. listen to some like post-rock stuff as well from time to time, especially when I'm working. I work from home, so I get to listen to music a lot, and a lot of that's really relaxing because you have like strings and all this stuff, and it can be very like soundtracky, which is makes it good background music.
Favorite metal band?
That's a tough one. I can't really say I've listened to enough to have a favorite, so I'm gonna pick Us.
Perfect. Ty?
Good choice.
I tend to swing back and forth between folk and bluegrass or Cannibal Corpse.
Nice.
But I'm also, what I normally listen to on a day-to-day is Mastodon, Meshuggah, Talk, King's X, like just bands with just Opeth, bands with just absolutely amazing, like everybody in the band is a force to be reckoned with of themselves, and it just really inspires me. And then I listen to a lot of traditional West African music, because just anything that feels good, anything that it's a very primal thing for me to listen to music.
So what got you into drums in particular?
I was the kid at 2 years old that was taking all the pans out of the kitchen and banging with the ladles on them.
Nice.
I was that
So,
kid.
it was-
And then I was making drum sets when I was 6 and 7 out of containers and boxes and whatever I could find.
So it was meant to be.
I guess.
That boy's going to be a drummer one day.
Now, what about your logo? I like your Facebook profile picture icon. You have your logo in your name. You have also these awesome pictures of you guys behind it. Who created your image?
Cross.
I currently do all the graphic design for the band. But for us, the logo kind of incorporates into the name itself. I've been a fan of metal since I was younger, and so there's always like that Scandinavian influence in a lot of black metal, and then even in more contemporary metal bands like Arch Enemy that would take influence. Like Michael Ahmad, we talked a lot about his Slavic ancestry, and so how he would incorporate those things into the designs for the band. And so for us, we wanted to incorporate undoubtedly the most recognized African symbol there is, the Ankh, in a way that we could have copyrights to it, and then the name Erzulie being borrowed from the Haitian voodoo religion, and Haiti being the first Black republic to gain its independence. So that was borrowing from our ancestry, and so that's how it works.
Very cool. So that's how did you guys decide that was the name you guys were going with?
Well,
Is that the actual spelling of it?
Yes,
okay.
That's the correct spelling of it. So it really was between me and Go Girl for the longest. I kept trying to give names that I didn't care about that much. They just seemed more metal. I think like Aerowolf was one of them. Like,
Aerowolf.
Yeah.
We are Aerowolf.
I'm like,
I
nah.
got
I'm
it.
like, bruh.
Yeah, I thought
We're not gonna be Arrowwolf.
I thought like
Aerowolf,
But
yeah.
you can write a song called Arrowolf.
Yeah,
yeah,
she was. I kept giving her other names. She was just like, "Stop putting two random words together." and but so
when you're all done, we want to know some of the other names.
I think Skulls and Spiders is one of them.
Yeah.
Skulls and spiders.
Like, no.
And so I am a voodoo practitioner, and earlier in that week on my Instagram I had posted the Veve, or the symbol of Erzulie, and so then I sent that to her. She was like, "Cool. All right, now we need to add more to it." I was like, "No, we're sticking with Erzulie."
That's it.
Yeah.
We're done. Found it.
Yeah.
So what were spiders and skulls?
Yes,
That would have been
Skulls.
abbreviated as
Arrowolf?
SAS.
Yeah.
Sass. We're sassy.
Yeah.
Sass and frass.
Sassy but
Holy
classy.
shit.
I think the ones that I wanted I never actually said out loud was like Feudal America,
Oh,
and then
wow.
Chicago Noir.
I remember Chicago Noir.
Chicago Noir. Yeah.
Yeah.
But where's Zilly?
I like
Sass.
Erzulie.
At one point, Cross and I, when we were, I think I was like 16, 17, he was like 15, 16, we formed a band called Tribal.
Yeah.
with one other kid that went to church with us. It was so bad.
we are a Christian thrash metal band.
Oh, it was so
great.
bad.
Christian thrash.
Oh man, it was so.
And I was the vocalist, and I can't sing.
Hey, at least you tried something.
Arrow Wolf.
And you did it for God.
did.
So he had
Did you
no
just say
judgment.
you didn't forgot?
No, you did it for God.
Yeah.
You thrashed
Oh,
for God.
Thrash
I
for
thought you said you
Jesus.
you didn't forgot.
Or at least who I thought was God.
See, there you go.
Arrow Wolf would be a sweet song title.
Yeah,
though.
there you go. Work with that.
Yeah, it's out of our pantheon now.
Yeah.
I'd be down to Airwolf song.
Arrow Wolf.
Have you guys played a lot of shows in your career so far?
We're definitely past 60 now. We're
9,000.
hitting like the 75, 80
Yeah.
now.
Holy shit.
We've gotten to travel a little bit. We've gotten to do new Atlanta. We'll be back to Atlanta later on this year. We're going to try for New York, things like that. We've gotten to gig with a lot of bands that are out of state, like Shinobi Ninja, who's an amazing band out of...
Shinobi Ninja?
Yeah.
They're out of New York.
They're out of New York. They're Brooklyn specifically. They're amazing. And yeah, it's been cool. We're starting to gig more. We're playing a show pretty soon on the 13th at Reggie's with Greenbeard, and they just got done playing South by Southwest and tearing it up down in Austin. So we're excited.
So the show's coming up. You got him out. Oh, someone's getting happy.
I'm happy I remembered to plug a show.
You said you guys have 2 shows coming up.
Yeah.
What are those? Where are they at? Who are they with? What time? Give me the dirty details.
Well, April 7th, we'll be playing at Front Woman Fest, 9:45, Erzulie. Front Woman Fest is an all-day thing, starting at 2 p.m., going all the way to, I'm sure, 2 a.m. the following day at Burlington Bar in Chicago, Illinois. April 13th, we'll be playing with Greenbeard at Reggie's. That's in the South Loop area of Chicago.
And be sure to bring earplugs because the last time we went to Burlington, we left without hearing. So it gets fucking loud in there.
Yes, and we're fucking loud, so.
So perfect.
A lot of the bands that you guys play with aren't necessarily metal, too. Am I right to say that you guys get grouped on a like more variety show type thing?
Yeah, I think people would more approach us as like an artcore band, if that makes sense. Because we incorporate things like folk, punk, jazz, metal, thrash. It's really hard to put us with like true metal bands, even though we've played with beat down bands like Through and Through, and they were scary. They were nice kids, but they were scary.
Our little village hardcore friends.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, but we played with a bunch of different type of artists. So as long as there's some kind of theatrical nature to it, we got to play with La Armada, who's a legendary band.
Say that again?
La Armada.
Haven't they been on the show?
No. Are you
Maybe
thinking
they will be.
Malinche? Yeah,
we
totally
play-
different
we
band.
We play with Malinche
Yeah.
too. We just got done playing with them. So
Yeah, they were really good.
So we play with a lot of metal and alternative bands mostly. Mostly alternative was probably middle of the road.
So that was the first show. What's the second show?
She said
That was
both of
April
them.
9th.
Oh, you said both.
Yeah.
Burlington Bar and Reggie's.
Yeah.
Shows how much you're paying
I'm a
attention.
dummy.
Well, let's have Luco gather his thoughts again, and let's play another song.
Well, this song is us proving that we are a jazz metal band. This one was a dedication to our mentor band that helped us out called Black Market Democracy. And if you're not familiar with them, you should check them out. They're really dope brothers. And this song is called Demons.
Sweet, here we go. Here is Demons.
Buckshot with this feeling, can't stop. Yucked up, sick of heaving, fear not. Buckshot with this feeling, can't stop. Yucked up, sick of heaving, fear not, fear not. Enter the eye of the serpent, into the belly of the law. Enter the eye of the serpent, into the belly of the
Hi, we're Debility, and I'm Zach.
I'm Sean.
Johnny Taco.
I'm Ryan. They've locked us in this room. There's no food in here. I'm cold and tired. They want us to tell you that you're listening to the
Metal
Experience.
Experience.
Please send help.
Woo! That was Demons by Erzulie, and I am Luco Blaze with Morgan Danielle. It's weird, just you and me now.
It's happened before.
Just you and me. And that was off the CD Audio Hacks Bad Blood Saga. And yeah, we're rocking out here with Erzulie still. I'm pronouncing that correctly? Yes. Fuck yeah. And so we're talking a little bit through the when we're playing that song, but I want to know your guys' most embarrassing live performance moments.
All right, I gotta start this one off.
Perfect.
So I like to wear really high heels during our shows, and I knew this had to do with shoes. Yeah, it had to do with shoes. I'm like a little thrift store head, so I'm at the thrift store always finding little looks. I found these awesome platform high heel boots by Chinese Laundry, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a good brand, like I gotta get these boots. And we go to the show, we're playing at Nightcap, we're playing a show, and like in the middle of the set, the whole entire bottom of the boot comes off. It is
my God.
like I pick up my foot and I'm like, oh no. Just dangling off like a cut off finger or something. And yeah, and I basically like continued the set and just like didn't move. I just stood in place like a statue and just like all upper body, like, yeah, I got this. And like during the break, the bartender took mercy on me and gave me some electrical tape, and I like tied it back on.
So
and
you
made it work.
electrical taped back on your heel.
Yeah, and it matched because it was a black heel, so it was just like black tape. But yeah, that was pretty.
But still not a lot of movement.
Yeah, I still had to like, had to keep it pretty.
Pretty basic.
Pretty basic movement. Yeah, I was basic Beyonce. Yeah.
I guess mine would be is we were playing a St. Patrick's Day show, not this year, but last year, and
he hasn't even told it yet.
At this particular show, it was cool. We set up our gear. It was kind of an intimate bar, and so we started playing our first song, and we noticed that there was one guy who was hate moshing a little bit, which we thought was weird to a jazz song. But like we liked his energy when we were like, yeah. But the longer that we played and the heavier songs that we played, because we have heavier, more thrash-inspired songs or whatever, he was just getting more and more reckless, like to the point that he was like running on stage and like knocking bottles over, and he ran over my foot pedal, completely messing up my switching, so I messed up the entire rest of that song. And so there was a band called The Guardsmen, and they're really dope. And they earned their title that night because they would stood in front of me, making sure he couldn't get up where I was.
See, they earned their shields.
Earn your shield. And so once he realized he couldn't get to me anymore, there was a piano right next to the stage. So he ran on that and stage dived into nobody. And I almost fought him, but I apologized afterwards. It's fine. He stage dove onto nobody.
Onto
so.
nobody. There was nobody there. It
Did
was
he just
hysterical.
like
Yes.
hit the ground?
He went flat.
Is there any video of this guy?
No.
I wish.
Oh
Don't
God.
nothing.
Would have been instant meme. Just in our memory. I seriously wish I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Oh
we were looking at. We figured something was gonna happen because we were playing, but we were staring at him, and he just flew overhead. It was impressive.
We should have started playing Shooting Stars when that happened.
Stage dove to nobody, just flat on the. That's awesome. What an animal. All right, who's next?
It is me, I am next. So, my most embarrassing moment with this band was probably when we were playing at Fallout, and it was our first time playing there, and Fallout's a fun place to play because there's always like energetic people and stuff. And so like people got energetic and stuff, and somehow the PA almost fell on me. I don't really remember why it almost fell on me, but it did. But luckily it didn't actually land on me, but I had to like protect my keyboard, and my keyboard definitely got disconnected maybe like 3 times that night, but like we're so loud and whatnot, sometimes it's hard to tell like if I'm plugged in or not, because sometimes I can only hear myself during like the quieter parts. I'm like, I wonder if I'm playing anything right now. Then like when there's a time when it's like just you playing or something like that, and you don't hear anything, and you're just like standing there moving your fingers, and no sounds coming out, and you're just like looking around like, oh yeah, I should probably like try and plug some stuff in or something.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so that was kind of embarrassing. I don't think people noticed too much though.
So you almost died from a PA falling on you.
I almost died, but I'm still here today.
Survivor.
Yes.
Hashtag survivor.
So my story with this band would definitely be, we were playing at Star Bar. And we're 2-3 songs in, we're rocking it. I mean, there's not a lot of people there, but there's a good group of people there. People are really vibing with the music. Everything's cool. I'm just ripping it, and then I go to hit my ride, and it's not there. So I look to my right, and one of my legs had fallen off of my kick drum, and the whole kick drum had rolled 8 inches to the right, and my right cymbal was like sticking straight up in the air, and then my rack tom, which is also attached to my kick, was like right where the ride cymbal was. So I was like, ah well, whatever. So that's when I realized I needed a new kit.
When your kit rolled away from you
Yes.
during a set.
During a set. Cool story, bro.
So you just kept playing the song, and
of course.
And then at the end of the song, you're just like, all right, hold on, guys, give me a minute.
Yeah.
What happened? Where'd the leg go? How'd you attach it?
I took
Magic?
a mic stand that
Voodoo
was
magic?
broken in the back,
And just
I
stuffed
stuck it
it
up
right
in there and set it back up.
Nice. Improvise. Well, Morgan.
Yeah.
I think it's about that time.
It's about that time.
Okay.
It's about that time.
Perfect.
Now it's time for
Hey man, look what I found!
Only on the Metal Experience.
Woo! All right, this week, and just like every week, this segment is brought to you by our friends at Imprint Recordings. Your music, your imprint. Visit imprintrecordings.com for more information for all your recording needs. So this week, the band is from Montreal, Quebec, in Canada, and the band is Wyken, and this is their debut single, and I am going to absolutely butcher this because we could not find it in Google Translator to pronounce it for us. So I'm going to butcher this. I do apologize beforehand, but this is Lapon Olmos, and then in parentheses, Noades Ride to Savo. All right, let's do it.
This is Jeff.
This is Linus.
We're in the band Nephilim.
You're listening to the Metal Experience.
All right, we just heard Wyken, and they're from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and that was their debut single. And I'm going to butcher this name again. Lapon Olmos, and then in parentheses, Noades Ride to Savo? Question mark? I'm not quite sure. I probably butchered that, but the band is spelled W-Y-K-A-N. Check out the band's debut EP, Solace. It comes out April 13th this year. That's a couple weeks from now. And be sure to pre-order a copy of it off the band's Bandcamp page for just $5 measly. It features some special guests such as Matt from Cryptopsy. I'm pretty sure that's their vocalist, Matt McGakey? I can't pronounce his last name either. And then Barry, I believe it's pronounced Barry, Butler from EOHum. If I'm pronouncing that correctly either. And as always, that segment is always brought to you by our friends at Imprint Recordings, your music, your imprint. Visit imprintrecordings.com for more information for all your recording needs. So after I just butchered all of those words, Erzulie. I pronounced it correct? Yes. Yes. But that's actually spelled Erzule.
Yes.
Little different.
Just
But
tad, yeah.
we had to spell it out so I could pronounce it correctly. But we are still rocking out with you guys. We got you here for about like another hour-ish, maybe-ish. Right, Morgan? Is that where we're about? Yeah. So Morgan really wanted to know how you guys all came up with your stage names.
Am I starting? Okay. So, let's see.
Because they sound like either superheroes or like Native American names.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with superhero. So, as I said earlier, I sing, but I'm also a dancer. And I moved to Chicago specifically to become a better break dancer and hip hop dancer.
You can break dance in heels?
Oh yeah, I can break dance in heels. Yeah,
Nice.
I can do.
She does it on stage sometimes.
Yeah, I do stuff on stage too. Yeah, when I came out here, I break dance for a while, and then like for the past, I want to say 3-4 years, I've been more focused on roboting and like robotic movement. And I supplemented that with street performing. So I was a golden statue lady, and I street performed like full time for about 2 years. And I was just all gold, and I called myself Gold Girl. That was my street performing
So
name.
where did you do this at?
Downtown in front of, there's a Macy's on Washington and State Street in Chicago.
And you did that as a full-time job for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Full time, I did it.
Wow.
And,
That's dedication. How did that... What did you do in winter?
Say that again?
What did you do in winter?
I did that. I did it year round.
So did you just spray
I
paint
take
everything
breaks, yeah,
gold?
like, I'm not-
and I mean, did you have to change up the outfit to keep warm? How did that
Well,
work?
I mean, it's more like a shell, the outfit. So I would be fully insulated underneath with gloves and Under Armour and just warm things and some hand warmers. And I would take breaks because I knew there are three to four active statues at a time in Chicago. I think there's like 3 million people in the city. There's 3 or 4 of us that are actually human statues.
So you choose to do this, or does a company hire you to do this?
I chose to do this. I met one of the other people who's been doing it like 15 years, who's like a staple, and he taught me how to like make a costume and do my makeup and stuff. But outside of that, I did my own look. I would go out on my own. The big thing is actually getting your sound system set up. That's probably the biggest thing in your stage. I'd have a little platform So like just transporting that from home to downtown is probably the hardest thing. But once you're out there, it's like people can't help to look at you. You're just like this big shiny person.
Big gold girl.
Yeah, gold girl.
There you
So
go.
I'm a gold girl.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
I need to look for human statues in the city.
Yeah.
My name isn't as glamorous. It's
What are you talking about?
It's just Sir, Surrr. Yeah.
That's
nothing super special
What does
about
it
it.
mean?
It's like if it's surreal or something like that. Yeah.
Heyo.
Like it's probably because like a lot of the keyboard stuff I do in the band is like kind of like spacey and whatever. And yeah, also sometimes it's also Cat Lord at the end.
Cat Lord.
Ty gave me that one
We have
because of and we do like a little cat dance. Yeah.
I'm making a cat, and I dance, and I dance.
So you transform from Sir to
Cat Lord.
Cat Lord.
Sir,
And now Cat Lord.
Sir Cat Lord. Yes.
Sir Cat Lord.
Yeah, we all have extra names on top of our stage names. We have the the Fierceness of Femininity, Gold Girl. We have the Dapper Drummer, Ty Dark. We have the Cat Lord, Sir. I am the Demon King, Crucifix, and then we have the Latin Italian Stallion, Stax, who isn't here today.
The Latin Italian Stallion.
Yes,
Don't think about it too much; you'll hurt yourself.
Oh my God.
Awesome. So in Crucifix, how did you come up with the name?
My name, it's funny because I've had the name Crucifix prior to being in Erzulie. I've used it my entire musical life. And people always think it's going to be like a really epic story, but in reality, my last name is Crossley. And I saw a kiosk with a bunch of rosaries and always wondered, hey, if they're crosses, why aren't they called crucifixes instead of crucifixes? And that was it. That was that shallow of a thought. And that was right around the time I was turning 16, which is old enough to get tattoos. So that's it. That's literally it.
I like it.
So mine comes from I was in the military for a cup of coffee, and I was in a band, and we used to go out and get very drunk and get in bar fights.
Nice.
And so my bandmates said that I fought like Tyson, which I thought was...
You bit people's ears?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. I have been known to bite people, so I mean, it makes sense. So I was just like, all right, whatever. So they started calling me Ty. And then when I came back, I had a couple friends come back with me, and they called me Ty. And then when we were doing this, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll stick with Ty then. And Cross has always called me Darker than the Original Sin. So I was like, Ty Dark. That works. I like it.
What the darkness came from, I don't know who's a huge fan of the Chappelle Show, but we were
Darkness.
darknesses. The Rick James skit, so that's where it came from. Because he is living darkness. His mother had an affair with nighttime.
Perfect.
Praise God.
Well, why don't we go ahead and now that we know you guys a little bit more personally, why don't we play another track off of the CD?
This one's going to end up being our first single. Hopefully it'll be out sometime this summer. This one's called Imaginary Friends, about our favorite people in the universe.
I see deep within me signs of truth. No education, my destination into the light. The fruit of life. And it stays between us. I've been waiting, anticipating, and it stays between Run free, ripe and seething, signs of truth. No explanation, investigation into my sight. The fruit of, the fruit of life. And it stays between us. I've been waiting, anticipating, yet it stays between us now. When it's cold outside, I gotta push on, 'cause it's suffocating. When it's cold outside, I gotta push on, intoxicate me. Now I see, deep within me, signs of truth, my destination. Your education, you do the life, the fruit of life, the fruit of life. When it's cold outside, I gotta push on, 'cause it's suffocating. When it's cold outside, I gotta push on, intoxicate me.
This is Frankie from the Bloodline, and you are listening to the Metal Experience. Metal. Woo! All right, we just heard another Erzulie track, and that was Imaginary Friends, and that's off the Audio Hex Bad Blood Saga. I am Luco Blaze with Morgan Danielle, rocking out here at the Metal Experience. And where can everyone get that CD from you guys?
Currently, you can find it on Bandcamp. If you look up erzulie.bandcamp.com, it will be on iTunes and Spotify in the next few days. But as of right now, you can buy it at Bandcamp.
Do you guys have physical copies?
No, we're not that fancy yet. We're just starting to figure out that gear is important. So,
Where did you guys record at?
We record with Adam. What's the name of Adam's studio?
Anthony Beck at Audio Warrior Productions. His studio is located at 5000 West Bloomingdale, right by Grand and Cicero area.
Nice.
Yeah.
His phone number is this. This is his social security number. I got it all.
How did you find him to work with you guys?
This is through Ty.
So another band that I was in, Adam Gottlieb and One Love, we recorded with Anthony right before I left the band, and I talked to Anthony. I was like, hey, let's do it. And he was like, yeah. And then we came in one day, and he was like, I love you guys' music. He's like, I really want to record all of you guys' music. So,
Boom.
boom.
It's been done.
Goes
So
to Dynamite.
you said this is actually the second CD you guys have put out, but this is the first one with this lineup.
Yes.
What was the first one, and can people still find that one and like to kind of see the transition of where you guys started to where you are now?
Yeah, if you go on the website at erzulie.bandcamp.com, both the Bad Blood, what is it?
Bad Blood Saga.
Bad Blood Saga, which is our current one, and our former one, which was Black Blood Genesis. We really like blood. They're both on
You
that
kind of
website.
needed to live, so
Yeah.
Kind of the driving force of your body.
yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to record the EP?
This particular EP, we did it in 2 takes. The instruments were done and the vocals were done the same night. Gigi ended up being really tired because it was way after everybody had recorded, so it ended up not being her most powerful performance. So she went in and recorded herself, I think, on a day. And so, yeah.
Two sessions?
Yep.
Technically 3, yeah.
3 sessions?
Yeah.
Knocked out four tracks.
It's how many tracks are there? 7.
There's 7
Seven.
tracks
There's
on
7. You only
there.
brought us 4?
Well, I sent the ones I was told to send.
Yeah, because the other ones are more on our jazzier side of
Yeah.
things.
Even
And this
have
is
an
called the
acoustic one
metal.
on
And this is the metal experience.
Yeah.
So,
We've had other genres on the show. Didn't necessarily have to only be.
you seem
Well.
so disappointed now.
I am. I wanted to hear the more jazzy
So
stuff.
I messaged Leo from Guardsman and I was like, hey, we have your friends on our show tonight. And they were saying that you guys played
We're
a show
their
together
guardsmen.
on St. Patrick's Day last year and that you played with them and earned your shields and protected them against drunk punks. And he goes, ha, that's true. Free-spirited drunks nearly crushed Cross's pedal board. Were it not for Carlos and Steve. And I was like, funny, because that's what he said too. Shout out to Leo.
Yeah,
From Guardsmen.
shout
They
out, Guardsmen.
earned their shields that night. That was like their slogan. Morgan, I don't know how she brought it up, but she always does weird stuff. She's just a weird person.
I think we were talking about if they created a fan club, like what they call their followers or something. And then I was like, well, if you come to the show, maybe they need to like earn their shields or I don't know.
No, he said that.
Stupid.
Didn't he say
I don't know.
earn their
It was
shields?
something. It was. I don't.
Oh, that's good. And everyone's like, why haven't you said that before?
Oh yeah. And then I was like, that should be your slogan for your fan club.
Earn your shield.
I don't know.
The Guardsman.
It was just brainstorming ideas. It was a good session. Half of that interview with them was in chipmunk voices. Oh no, or was it slow mo? Which one was it? Was it the slow mo? No, it was the slow mo voice. Oh.
Watch out for her.
Everything's working perfectly tonight, guys. Don't worry.
So she tells you.
So I tell you. So what are you thinking about for the rest of the year for you as a band? Where would you like to see yourselves like tour? Are you thinking you want to record again, full length? What are your goals?
Right now, we're just shipping this EP out to record companies to see if anybody bites. If not, that's cool. Just getting merch done, and we have friends in Atlanta, so we're going to go work with them again and then try to build some friendships in New York and Philadelphia as well. Philadelphia has an amazing DIY punk scene that we would love to be a part of. And just playing more shows and getting our name out there. At this point, even though 3 years is a pretty good amount of time, we still feel like we're in the trucking it stage of our career where we really just want to play shows and get our name out there, and hopefully people notice us. So it's starting to work that way.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Music video too. That's a big thing we're trying to put out.
Yeah, we kind of need one.
Yeah, we don't have a formal music video. We have a lot of live footage, and we've streamed, put stuff together for videos, but that's like a big thing for us. Most likely we're gonna do Imaginary Friends and have a music video for that. Yeah.
Nice. So have you ever had an imaginary friend growing up?
Yeah.
I still have an imaginary friend.
What are their names?
Ooh.
Mine was Damien, and then Damien became Crucifix. So whatever my
So
legal
you're
name.
possessed.
Yeah. So whoever
He was
whatever
a
my
demon.
whatever my legal name is, which I won't say on air, and Damien combined, we are Crucifix fusion, and there it is.
Fusion.
Take my earring.
Ty?
Dragon Ball Z. You have
Who
to
is
know.
your imaginary friend's name?
Suka.
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 All right.
Suka.
Suka.
He's an imp.
Perfect.
Sorry, did you say imp or gimp?
Imp.
Okay.
Imp, like an imp, like a little red person that flies around and sets stuff on fire.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah.
Duh.
Okay. A pyro?
An imp, Morgan.
I don't know what an
Imps are pyros. I mean, they're
Okay.
demons. They're lesser demons, but they're still demons. So.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Tight.
The Itchy and Scratchy show.
Huh?
They sound like the Itchy and Scratchy foe.
Oh no, that's drunk history.
Cool. Tight.
Cool. Tight. I was like, cool. Tight. Watch that show if anybody hasn't seen it
I
on
love
Comedy
Drunk
Central.
History.
It's so
Yeah,
fucking
it's
funny.
so funny. Do they have a new season out or
Yes,
something? Oh
it's
my gosh.
yeah. It's
Cool.
great.
Tight.
The cameos have just gotten better.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we're still missing 2 imaginary friends.
I don't really.
You never had one?
I mean, if you didn't have one.
You just are your imaginary friend. You're gold
Yeah,
girl.
I'm my own friend.
Sir?
Yeah, I don't have one either.
He's
Okay.
too smart for that.
He's the brains of the band. He ain't got time for no imaginary friends.
I did not have one either, Morgan. You?
I just talked to myself.
Morgan just talked to herself, so it looked like she had an imaginary
I
friend.
guess
but she
it was
talking
just
to
voices
herself.
in my head. It wasn't an
I
imaginary.
understand.
Yeah, it's just wild imagination, but no imaginary friends. I get it.
She had no friends. She talked to herself.
Where can people shut up? I'm gonna cry in a corner. To get a hold of you guys, what is the best to try to book you for shows, or if you're interested in getting your information for booking?
The official email is azili@outlook.com. You can contact us on our Facebook, which is facebook.com/aziliband, or @aziliband on Instagram. Any of those are fine because I run almost all of them, so I'll just respond to it myself. And just comment. We're cool people. We're freaky, but we're here.
We're freaky.
Now, what would you say has been the highlight so far of you guys being in a band together? Like, is there a moment that stood out to be, besides highlight, but something that you guys connected on the most, or something that you thought was a pivotal moment in your career? That
Or, holy shit, we just played with so-and-so.
yeah, like that.
I would say going to Punk Black was a pretty big point in our career. Punk Black is a festival that's held in Atlanta every year, and it was our first show where, I mean, we'd played a show in Wisconsin, but this was like the farthest we'd gone from Chicago to play a show. And our car broke down multiple times, and like Ty is just a wizard and really helped us get there. Yeah, there was definitely like it was definitely a trial getting there, but once we got there, we met some amazing bands. The Tulips.
Yeah.
The Tulips, not the Pixies. The Tulips.
We did not meet the Pixies.
No.
The Tulips.
Yeah, the Tulips. We played a Concrete God, Pussyfoot. Do you guys remember any other bands from there?
Probably.
Wolves. No, not Wolves. Anyway, we met like just a lot of. We did meet like a lot of great bands there, and we were like, we just had to bond with each other because we were just with each other for. I don't know, like 3-4 days.
Yep.
Yeah, stayed at families' houses. We stayed at my mom's house. She was in North Carolina. Stayed at Cross's aunt's place, and just really bonded. Yeah.
Road trip,
totally.
I think for us, some of the coolest stuff is we have a good friendship with Girls Rock. Which is an organization that inspires young girls to learn how to play instruments, rock and roll, vocals or what have you. So we played a bunch of shows with them, including graduation things. So it's always cool for us when we get to play shows for kids and see the next generation of metalheads feel what we're doing. But I think just in the last few years, whether it be metal or hip hop or whatever you have, it's gotten to be so diverse. And so just meeting people in the metal community that are from all types of religions, backgrounds, and gender identities, and finding friendships with them. So that's been a cool, constant on a journey.
Cool. Tight. Sir?
Oh, yeah. I think for me, probably our trip to Punk Black, because it was our longest trip, and there was like a lot of hype leading up to it and everything, and it was kind of like the big event of the summer, and we played Punk Black, and then the night before we played like a pre-Punk Black show, and
you pre'd.
Yeah, it was like a pre-party thing. So we got to play twice, which was really cool, and it was my first time in Atlanta, so it was just cool seeing what the community's like over there.
Yeah, so we basically consider ourselves like flag bearers for Punk Black here in Chicago. It is an Atlanta-based organization dedicated to diversity in punk and rock music, and they're also about literally going out there and affecting their community. The founder of the group, his name is Von Phoenix. He was out building tiny houses for the homeless people in Atlanta. So it's a really cool organization that really wants to show that punks are doing something great in this country. Even our friends here in Chicago, most notably Amanda from Beard and Yellow and Rosaries, she's been part of so many organizations that have helped specifically women. Like we have Chicago Women's Warriors, which teach free self-defense classes and give legal weapons to women if they want to take them.
Thank you.
They've done things like help Planned Parenthood and the Chicago Abused Women's Coalition. So Amanda is just an angel on the west side of Chicago.
Hey-o. And Ty. Ty, your highlight so far with the band. He's got to think. He's thinking hard.
Ripping apart the fuel rail to try to get the truck running better with a toolkit of things that I just kind of threw in a bag before the trip. In a gas station like pump bay. Yeah, that was definitely interesting.
So what types of items did you have?
Some wrenches, some screwdrivers, a monkey wrench, and a very small socket set.
Here I was hoping they were going to be tools that weren't considered tools until you decided to use them as tools.
Like a straw
Yeah.
and gum wrappers.
It was like one of those MacGyver
I threw in
moments.
toothpicks, paper clips.
To pull apart a fuel rail, I'm not that ingenuitive yet.
To be fair, he is because we were driving there and we even went to a mechanics and they were like, this thing is shot. You might as well just like sell it and hope for the best. And then we were like, we can't do that. So like,
Yeah, we're like in the middle of something right now.
Yeah, so like legitimately every time the car had to stop for more than 2 seconds, Ty would have to restart the engine. And sometimes I was during like rainstorms and whatever else and zero visibility out in the highways, and he did it. So yeah, big shout out to him. It's also his fault we had that truck, so.
Oh, I just want to pop in and say I believe Pump Black is where I premiered my bootyless shorts.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Bootyless shorts?
Bootyless booty shorts.
She was wearing assless shorts.
Yeah, like the whole butt is cut out. But it's like, yeah.
Just the cheeks hanging out?
Just the cheeks out.
So they're like assless chaps, but assless shorts.
Yeah.
For women.
Rest in peace, Prince.
Yes. Yes.
Was this another
Highlight for
thrift
me.
store find?
Yeah, well, I mean, I paint some of my outfits, so like going back to the street performing stuff, in order to do my human statue outfits, I would paint clothes with indoor latex paint, and I did the same with those outfits. Yeah, thrift store finds that I painted on top of and cut up and redesigned.
Yeah, to answer the question, she did not buy them as bootyless shorts. She
I created.
Modified.
Yeah, I modified them.
So was this
They were
because
definitely just
I think they were pants that became
They were
shorts
pants.
that became booty.
Was it because Atlanta was just so hot?
No, I'm always looking for like extreme things to
Okay.
wear and just yeah.
Assless shorts. It's a
Assless
thing. Look it up,
shorts.
people.
Yep. Yep.
Huh.
You guys should have your own Erzulie
Assless
booty,
shorts.
assless
Yeah.
shorts.
Yeah.
That's definitely been on the conversation.
Zini shorts.
If we have the assless shorts, then we have to have the Erzulie loincloth.
Yes.
Because when we play, most of the time I wear a loincloth with a waist strap.
Is this it for real?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, our on stage outfits are pretty extreme. Yeah.
I
Just
get
a
really hot
loincloth?
really quickly, and then
especially
like
Ty's
and
like the
then
most naked one actually.
a fedora or like
You
some
guys
sort
mentioned that
of
you
head
played
wrap.
for children earlier. You guys
We
change
do. We
outfits
don't.
on
Yeah, I
stage,
didn't
right?
play the bootyless shorts. for
Bootyless
Girls
shorts in front of the
Rock.
children.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that
we
didn't
did
happen.
we did sing it dirty.
Yeah, well, that was an
But
accident. though.
that was an accident.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely it's not like everything's out. It's a waist wrap. Like
He's lying to you.
I'm covered.
Because of him, our shows can't be for children.
Can't handle these adult pecs.
I don't what, dude. Y'all try doing what I do and
It's a
not sweating through
children's
your
show.
clothes.
It's a children's show.
I do sweat through my clothes, but I'm chubby, so clothes off is not an option.
So what are your outfits?
My outfit is corpse paint in a converted nun's dress that I got at a resale shop.
Converted nun's dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought 2 of my items in Atlanta. I have a top hat, and I have these glasses that are holographic and have skulls on them, which are pretty cool. And I also, when I paint up, I probably have to do the simplest paint job, but it's just a plus on one side and a minus on the other side.
And why is that?
Not really sure. It was kind of. I was like, I have to paint something, and I just have my fingers, and so I need something that people could actually see from the audience. So if it's something really complicated, it's not going to look like anything. So I'm like, a plus and a minus, and I'm done in like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Then our bass player Stax, his face paint, because he is the minority team of the band. Go Girl is of African American and Panamanian descent. And our bass player is the Latin Italian stallion, who is Italian, Mexican, and a bunch of other stuff. Croatian, Native American.
Yeah.
He's not Hawaiian. He's not
No,
Hawaiian.
he's not Hawaiian.
We like to say that.
That's
anyway.
one thing we do know.
Yeah, he's not black. He's not Hawaiian. We're not sure about the rest of the stuff. But his makeup is based on Native American traditional trail paint, and it's just a line from the left to the right. I have one too. And Native American warriors wear those things to ensure they would have a safe trip there and back from battle. And I'm also of Choctaw descent, so I want to represent that.
Nice. Very interesting.
So mine started out as like just shorts or pants and
Assless, of course.
No.
We're going back to you taking off all your clothes again?
not assless. They're not assless.
They're
but
crotchless.
have you ever assless sitting on a drum stool? That is not comfortable. That does not seem comfortable. So it just Cross was like, okay, well, we need to work on something. I was like, okay, well, I get really hot, so I'm gonna wear a loincloth. So I went to Joann Fabric. And I bought some raw cotton in a couple different colors, and I was like, this works. And I got some paracord, and I tied it around my waist, and I was like, done. And then so I started painting my face in like a Zombie-inspired skull face, inspired by the Zombie Warriors, and it just kind of developed from there. And yeah.
I'm showing them pictures of you being very naked on stage.
Not of your loincloth.
Because I'm sitting. You can't see anything. I'm sitting behind a drum set. You can't see my legs.
You can't see my legs.
So you can't prove
I
your
won't
race
let
thing.
You can't prove a negative, all right? So whatever you want to imagine is fine. I don't care.
All right. Well, wrapping up the night, I do have a couple very quick announcements.
A couple, 2, 3?
We went to a couple very badass shows this weekend. I wanted to give a shout out to those. The first one we went to was Gent Fest at the Beat Kitchen with Tanzan. They helped put that together, and it was amazing. Levitated, Portals, DeVille, Tanzan, our friends in Rhino played their last show, and By the Thousands came down from Minnesota. The show was fucking awesome.
We actually missed the Levitated, which kind of pissed me off.
You know, city traffic shit. And then
What was it? By the Thousands?
By the Thousands came down from Minnesota. It was awesome. So
I'd never heard
Gent
of them.
Fest, this was the first time that Tanzan put this together.
I'd never heard of them or seen them, but By the Thousands was fucking sweet.
Yes. Luca was like, what if the CD sucks? And I was like, they're playing Gent Fest. It's not going to suck.
I didn't say that.
You totally did. You just bought that. You don't
didn't
even
say
know.
that.
I was like, trust me, I got a very good feeling about this. Saturday night, we were at Brower House. The Silent Truth did their CD release show for Ascension, which is out officially now. We got to see 99 Proof Devils, Genotype, Atlanta is Burning, Torn by Tentacles, Orion 9 came back from the dead, and I feel like I'm missing a couple. Avon Fire was in from Michigan.
Avon Fire, yeah.
And then
Was that what it
On
was?
My Six
On My
played.
Six.
So pretty stacked lineup for Saturday, and that was awesome. Congratulations to A Silent Truth for having an awesome CD release show success at Brower House.
And the new Brower House.
And the new Brower House.
is
Holy shit.
sweet.
It really is. The venue they opened up is super awesome. So go check that out when you have a
And
chance.
there's an arcade room there,
There is an
too.
arcade room there. So just a couple shows going on this week. Well, one for sure. It's called the March into Metal Madness. 4 bands, 4 brand new albums, and it's one killer night. You can go see Scars of Armageddon, Beyond Death, Depremacy, and A Silent Truth at Penny Road Pub. And then Those Dirty Thieves, keep in mind, have a brand new album called The Divide coming out on April 20th. That's 420. The brand new album cover is up on their Facebook page, and the single is coming out this week.
Which band?
Those Dirty Thieves.
Gotcha.
Also coming up next week is the Under the Dark Mark CD release show for our friends in Bloodletter. They're going to be playing at the Subterranean with Warforged and a band that I still can't figure out how to pronounce their name because they've got that crazy death metal writing that I cannot
You
read.
can't even read it.
I can't read it.
It's not that you can't pronounce it, it's that we can't read it, so we don't know who
Yeah.
it is.
So I have.
Let me
have
see it one
no
more time.
idea. No, I don't have it.
Oh.
And also keep your calendars marked for May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Growing the Band, who actually we just ran into at the Gent show. Everybody has talked very highly about them. So we finally met a couple of the members at this show. They have a new album coming out for the Gauntlet May 4th. They're going to have their CD release show at High Noon in Madison. And those tickets are on sale, and you can go to their Facebook page for more information on that. This Saturday,
Wait, where did we see the Growing?
a couple of the guys were down to watch Gent Fest. We met them. We were at a booth. Jog your memory a little
It's
bit.
all coming back now.
Saturday, March 24th, the Doc Metal Show is having their 5-year anniversary bash. Congratulations, Doc Metal with the real Munson. And they are having that at Reggie's. It's $10 at the door, but it's $8 in advance online. It's the Pale Horseman, Scientist, Snow Burial, and Gamma Goat. So go celebrate a very awesome other podcast like ours that interviews and supports the local metal. Proudest Angel has tickets still on sale, $8, and free download of the latest album by them if you want to go see their show at House of Blues in Chicago, March 29th. So make sure you hit them up for tickets that are not going to be as expensive as paying at the door at House of Blues.
Yeah.
And that is all I got for shows and upcoming events. And next week at Fits and Spirit Keys in Elmhurst, we are going to be welcoming back for their second time our friends in Funeral Nation. So you can come out and hang out with us while we catch up with the guys, have a couple beers,
Have a couple of cold ones.
drink. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you say? You want a cold
I
one?
want a cold one.
A cold one with the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan's like cold one with the boys while she opens up like a
Water.
hard apple cider. A cold one with the boys.
Yeah. I don't drink no fucking beer. That shit's gross.
Or those premixed. those premixed.
This has been Luco's habit of after I talk the past couple shows. I've noticed then he just wants to rip in on me. So
No,
we're
it's
gonna
just
cut
some
it
funny
there.
things.
And this is the end of my part of the show. So
The Russian.
one
the
more
White
time.
Russians.
Shut up.
She's
One more
like,
time.
You want a cold one? She cracks open a pre-made White Russian. You're such a dork.
What's in a White Russian?
It's like Kahlua.
Deliciousness.
It tastes like chocolate
Kahlua.
milk.
Well,
But it's like
it does taste
you know,
like
it's got vodka in
chocolate
it,
milk.
but it tastes like chocolate milk.
It's vodka,
And it's
cream,
delicious.
and coffee liqueur. And then there's a mudslide, which is coffee liqueur, rum, and cream.
Yeah.
It tastes like chocolate
Amazing.
milk.
It really does.
And it's fucking
And I'm
delicious.
addicted to it. Anyway, totally sidetracked off the music biz.
Open up a
part.
cold one with
Shut the fuck up. We want to thank you guys for coming out, hanging out with us, giving us the rundown on everything there is about
Cracking
your
open a
band,
cold one.
sharing some awesome tracks. We didn't play everything that you guys had off of your newly released EP because we wanted to keep some of it to
Ty
be a
said
surprise.
it was too jazzy.
It's too jazzy. Well,
Ross said it was too jazzy.
we're all about that jazz.
I'm just busting balls.
So make sure you go to your Bandcamp
Shit
for the
fire, shit
listeners
fire.
to be able to hear the rest of the album because it is phenomenal. And those upcoming shows are all on your Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, the band page for the albums is erzulie.bandcamp.com. That's ERZULIE.BANCAMP.com. You can find our current EP, which is Audio Hex the Bad Blood Saga, and our former EP, which is called Black Blood Genesis, or something with those three letters. But this Audio Hex is with the current members, and it's a lot more instrumentation, especially with Stax on bass and Sir on the keys. They're just bringing another jazz element, so hopefully people dig it.
Nice.
Oh, can I give a quick
Yeah.
shout out?
Absolutely.
I want to give a shout out to this guy right here. Can you tell me your name?
Chico!
Chico!
Yo, Chico came out here to see us perform. He thought
laugh.
we were putting on a full show tonight, and you know we're doing a show with the Metal Experience, but it's not the show he was expecting. So I want to give a shout out to Chico for showing up and supporting us and supporting music.
Well, we do
much.
encourage
And
people
everybody
to
else
come
who comes
out.
out to support us. We really appreciate you too. I feel like we have really good fans, and we're like getting fans. You know what I mean? Like we're like getting people who are like really like our music and really want to support us and follow us. And yeah, so thank you guys out there.
Thanks, Chico.
Anybody can come hang out with us every Tuesday at Fitz's Bear Keys.
We
Come
are
out.
at a bar.
Yeah, we are at a bar. Come chill.
out, get some food, get some.
Come meet
have
new
a couple
people,
two,
hang
three
out with
packs.
musicians. It's a
Tacos.
great time.
Taco Tuesdays.
It's the best part. No, I'm kidding. So we do have one more song that you guys wanted to play
But
tonight.
before we play that,
Luca's
again,
gonna rip on me again. Please.
where can everyone crack open a cold one with you guys at your shows coming up? What were the shows again?
We have a show April 7th with Front Women Fest at Burlington Bar in Chicago, Illinois, starting at 9:45. On April 13th, we are opening for Green Beard at Reggie's in the South Loop neighborhood
Not
of Chicago.
Green Day, Green
Not
Beard.
Green Day, hopefully one day.
Green beard, very
Green
sludge,
Beard.
stoner metal.
Arg. Yeah, they have to arg.
All right, Luco, your turn.
And then also remember to check out the bands we open up with, some local bands, Sons of Ra and Faces of the Bog. And then the unsigned band pick from Canada, Wyken. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
And the last song that we're going to play for tonight, this is still off of your newest EP, correct?
Yes, it is.
And what is this song about?
This song is about people who need to take courage within themselves to find the strength to unify in uncomfortable situations. So this one is called Children of an Unwelcome God.
All right, the last song of the night. Thank you guys so much, and tune in next week as we interview Funeral Nation for their second time.
Crack open a cold one with the boys.
Have a seat.